Hey, what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Kracker vlog. And today is the day after I have conquered another Warrior Dash. It is my third go around, and I didn't do it for time again this year like last year because I kept pace with my girlfriend. If you remember in the previous vlog, there were some issues going on, but she's doing better and she was able to run with me, and it seems like this kind of stuff is what helps her a lot, so I'm glad she was able to go, and I was glad she was able to participate. But you know, we both got, you know, our lovely medals, and I've got, as you can see, my Warrior Dash hat, and I'm going to bring this down a little bit. The beard is gone. It is gone. It is no longer in existence. In fact, I'm going to leave the microphone right there because that should be good enough for you to see and hear what I have to say, I hope. So, that's all said and done. I am in the apartment by myself for probably a good portion of this week, if not the entire week, and maybe a good part of next week as well. So I'm going to throw this out there right now. This is the time. If you want to do any collaborations, if you want to do anything, you know, big, any big projects, if I'm not at work, I should be available to help you out. I should be available to do a lot of stuff, and you'll probably hear me sound, I'm going to sit up a little bit. You're probably going to hear me sound a little bit better than I have in the past because I've always kind of reserved myself a little bit when I've been recording because either, you know, there's somebody sitting in there with me, or, you know, I was worried about waking up the baby, but there's no baby here to wake up. I can talk like I want to talk, and the only people I have to worry about are the people who walk by that door over there who are going, what in the hell is going on in that apartment? But who really gives a crap about that? So yeah, Warrior Dash is done. Took a while to finish, but that's because I, like I said, kept pace with my girlfriend. Got my hat, got my shirt, got my medal. As you see, I don't have the headphones on because I realized at this point it's silly because I don't listen to my own feedback because I sound drunk, and I don't know if there's some setting that is screwed up in this laptop. I know under the old laptop I could listen to myself and it was fine, but in this one it's just weird. It's like there's like a delay in the feedback. I don't know if it's the USB function. You know, if you watched the last video, the last vlog, the apartment tour, remember the cat? Yeah, she's running around chirping, so yeah, that's really interesting. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this or not, but then I decided, you know, I did the Warrior Dash, it's done, it's finished, you know, we can go ahead and talk about this and move forward with this. And I actually had the thought of doing another kind of a rant, I guess. I don't really know if that's how you describe it, but it goes back to the fact that Twitch has announced recently that they are going to be going through their archives and flagging copyrighted music that was used in ambient sounds, in-game sounds, so on and so forth. This has apparently riled up a lot of people, and depending on your perspective determines how riled up you are. Now, some people are riled up that you're doing this in the first place because, oh, I've been you doing this in my music, and then this is what my viewers want. I'll get to your argument in a minute because it's a load of crap. The people who are legitimately upset are the people who are losing 30-minute blocks of their archived videos because of maybe a 30-second piece of audio that was identified as copyright. That's a little extreme, and I think Twitch needs to reconsider that process and maybe try to isolate things a little bit better, because if a 30-second clip, if a 30-second block is enough to trigger the detection system, and it blocks 30 minutes of your archive, that's pretty significant, and that's a big deal, and I can understand why people are upset about this. And I think Twitch really needs to reconsider that process. Now, what they don't need to reconsider is doing this in the first place. If you are using copyrighted music in your videos, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, or any other service, you're breaking the law. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, whether you think it's dumb or not, and maybe to an extent it is, but the music industry is particularly protective of its properties. And the one thing they will do is they will come after you if they find you are using their music, if an artist or a label finds out matches their music, and so on and so forth. They're protective. They will not come after, but they won't really necessarily come after you. They'll come after the company that's doing it, like Viacom not too long ago went after YouTube. They will sue Google, who is now going to be taking over Twitch. And if enough lawsuits come along and they have to spend enough money fighting these lawsuits, guess what happens? That awesome streaming service that you've been using to talk to people and make money because of your broadcast, it's gone. So that's a big deal. And I know people don't like talking about copyright law, and they don't like dealing with the fact of what's legal and not. And a lot of these people who are upset are kids or people who don't understand how this works. If you're using music from, like, I keep coming back to Metallica because they were one of the first ones to fight downloaded music to begin with for free. But if you're using anything like from Daft Punk or Pharrell or any musician whatsoever right now, One Republic, One Direction, any of these major, even Bieber Boober, if you're using someone's music that is protected by copyright law, then you're not using it legally. And basically the way copyright laws are supposed to work is that whenever somebody's music is used, they're supposed to get reimbursed for that use. Which means if you want to put it in your video or if you want to use it in your live stream, by law you're supposed to be paying, I believe the publisher or whoever holds the rights to the music is who you're supposed to pay, usually the record company. You're supposed to pay them for that. If you're not paying for them, that piece of hair hanging down off there, if you're not paying them, then you're breaking the law. And they do reserve the right to come after you. So basically what you're seeing is Twitch try to protect itself because somebody's probably saying, hey, get our music off your broadcasts or we're coming after you. Now what's weird about the way Twitch is handling is they're only doing the archive stuff. So all you people who've been using Spotify and then allow Twitch to archive your stuff, you're going to get nailed. And if you're using Spotify and you're using any kind of copyrighted music, then you get what's coming to you because you've been warned. You should have learned from the YouTube mess. And again, people got mad at YouTube for the content ID, and that whole thing is flawed. It really is. And I understand the frustration that people have when legitimate stuff, like a couple of people were talking about how music they made was being matched up with something else. And right now, Twitch doesn't have a whole lot of answers, which is making things worse. But I know one of the problems with YouTube was that you could just basically say you owned you could make yourself a creator, say you own something and collect ad revenue from something that you didn't make but say you made. So I know they were dealing with a lot of issues with that, and I think they cleared up a lot of it, but I know people still have content ID issues and so forth. I know a track, Monkey Spinning Monkeys by Kevin MacLeod, got flagged not recently, but when I first used it, it was flagged. It was matched up with something else. I disputed it and I won because I had the information to back it up, but it becomes a bit of a challenge sometimes. I know people can be intimidated by this. The main point of this is if you're using music that isn't rightfully yours to use, then you really have nothing to be complaining about. Stop using copyrighted music. Stop using Spotify. There's a lot of royalty-free music out there on the internet. Just grab something and go with it. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to sound semi-decent. I like a lot of the stuff I got from Incompetech.com. So, there's that. If you're a Twitch broadcaster and you like to use music to augment your gaming experience, then you're going to have to figure something out. And, the obvious solution is, like I said, royalty-free music. Or you should be able to use in-game music, but I know that they've had some issues with in-game music being flagged as something else. Just be careful and realize that this is going to take some time for them to straighten out. And the whole thing about people wanting to be able to use whatever music they want because it's for entertainment purposes, keep this in mind as well. These games that you're playing are also copyright. And if at any point a publisher gets aggravated at the YouTube community or the Twitch community for the way their games are being portrayed, they could sit there and throw that at you and say, nope, you can't record this, nope, you can't broadcast this, sorry, if you do so, goodbye. And there's nothing you can do about it because you don't own the property. And that is an important facet of copyright law. You don't actually own it, even if you've paid for it. I know my friend Hal wanted to do a remix of a song and was asking if he'd be able to do it because he's paid for the song itself that he's remixing. No, you have to get permission from the record company who holds the right to that song before you can do it, and that usually requires a pretty significant amount of money. So keep that all in mind. It's all right to get upset by it. It's all right to not like it. I know a lot of people have been using regular music during their streams to kind of give background noise and so on and so forth. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. So just don't complain about it. Don't go on Twitter, go on Google is a piece of shit because they're making me take my videos down, or they're telling me that the music I'm using isn't right. You know, it's to entertain my audience, and that's what they want to hear. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't really. That's a horseshit excuse, for lack of better words. So keep that all in mind. I know people are frustrated by it, but it's just something you're going to have to deal with. And even if you try go on, like, what was it, Hitbox? That's another one now that's live streaming. Any of these sites are going to have to deal with this at some point, because all it takes is one lawsuit, one, that will cause the issue. Now, I know that it's a different story if you don't like how it's being handled. Because it is being handled poorly. Twitch is handling it very poorly. They didn't really give you a whole lot of warning. They didn't tell you how it was going to work. They're taking 30-minute blocks of your video down for anything that they detect, whether it be right or wrong. They've at least given you an appeal button now, but is it going to do anything? That's going to be the big thing. Is it going to really help out at all? So the music I'm using in this video, it's going to be anything that I've gotten off of Incompetech. That's pretty much all I use, except when I'm actually playing Minecraft and I want to use Minecraft music. And like when I'm recording Skyrim, I use Skyrim sounds. I don't add anything into that. So basically, I feel like I'm keeping myself covered in my decisions. I'm going to be about 12 minutes on this right now. So I think we're going to wrap this up. There's not really much else to get into. That's the crux of my argument, that, you know, if you're using copyrighted music, cut it out. If you're complaining about the way it's being handled, go ahead and make yourself heard. But if you're going to complain about copyright music, shut your damn mouth. Now, again, I mentioned this for the rest of this week, and today is the 10th. It's actually the 11th now. It's technically Monday. So through most of this week, I'm going to have more time to record. Like I said, I'm here by myself. There's no baby. There's no 4-year-old. The girlfriend's they're all at my girlfriend's mom. She's going to be there for a little bit longer. So for the time being, there's a lot of free time available. If you want to get together and record something at night, I'm probably going to be around. Just shoot me a message if you follow me on Twitter, or, you know, find me on Facebook. Everything is in the description. If you want to contact me, just find a preferred method and we will make it happen. So until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support for St. Jude. I don't think I got much from anybody off of the YouTube's or Twitter support, but I did raise $470 for St. Jude, which is pretty cool. So I got a lot of free food. And I'm actually kind of proud of this, again, because, you know, it's the third time I've finished one of these. It wasn't easy this year. Maybe I'll talk about it more some other time. But, you know, for now, we're going to call it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.